All right, welcome everyone. My name is Brian.
I'm TJ.
And Liz is here. Liz is our travel agent who we work with to get our friends booked on travel. So welcome. We are going to talk about our Virgin Voyages cruise that we took last month, May. We had a May 18th sailing, and we're going to get into that. So this is for you to discover the brand and feel free to ask questions. We're going to have a question and answer time at the end. So feel free to type in your questions throughout our presentation tonight. And then at the end, we'll let you unmute if you want to verbally ask your questions. But Liz is going to be keeping track of questions that come in. So feel free, you can type them in and we'll answer during. But if you want to save your question to the end and you want to unmute and ask your question, you're more than welcome to at the end. But welcome. So I just want to start off first by saying that we were hosted on this cruise. And that is the reason why we kind of, I've been watching Virgin Voyages, but that is the reason that we went at this specific time, because we were hosted and invited by Virgin Voyages. So I want to put that disclaimer out there because we want to be transparent with you. And I just want to get that piece out of the way. So some of the things today you'll see we'll talk about, and I'll explain that it might not be included directly with your booking because of our status on the cruise, but most of everything is included, and it's amazing. Yeah. So one of the reasons why I want to continue talking about it is because I love this product so much. It is so good.
Yeah, personally, I give it a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Yeah. So Liz, I'm going to let Liz kind of do an introduction of herself and talk a little bit about what she does.
Hi, everyone. I'm Liz. I am Brian and TJ's travel planner, friend, best friend, sister living in Philadelphia. I'm here to help folks who are interested in travel or thinking about travel or maybe inspired to travel somewhere, make that a reality. And that includes, products like Virgin Voyages, Disney destinations, Universal, all the different cruise lines. But I'm most excited for us to dive into Virgin tonight because it is really a truly spectacular product. And I think for a lot of us here, it's very exciting to learn about it. And I'm excited to talk about it. So I can't wait for the rest of the night to begin.
Yeah, so Liz has not herself gone yet on a sailing on Virgin Voyages. However, Liz is like the topmost trained, whatever. Virgin Voyages has training for their travel advisors. And what are you?
It's like the gold level. So the gold standard of training for Virgin. So I feel like I've done them myself.
She's gone all the way through every single training they have to offer. So she is very familiar with the product. So that's why she can be an authority on this, because she's gone through the training, and I'm sure she will be setting sail with them very soon.
I expect to sail by October. So
there you go. Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it. Once again, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining. If you're watching the replay of this, thank you so much for joining as well. We are glad that you're here. Our videos on YouTube have been doing really well about this topic, about Virgin Voyages. So for those who are watching, if you haven't checked out our vlog style videos on YouTube, you can check them out, and we'll make sure at the end of this video, if we can link the YouTube channel, we'll make sure to link the YouTube channel in the chat. But let's go ahead and kind of get started about why Virgin Voyages is different than the rest. So this is the list. This is your list. First off, it's adults only.
Yeah, that's the big headliner.
Yeah, it's so funny because when we were, I haven't really told this story, I haven't really talked to TJ about it, but when we were in the terminal, like getting situated, we had taken our test, we were in the waiting room waiting for our test, and I heard this kind of shuffle, like down the hall and I couldn't see who it was. I was like, I hope that's not a bunch of children. And of course it wasn't children because it's adults only. I don't know, I still had that like anxiousness of like, oh, we're gonna have like disruptive children come running through. But that's the nice thing about Virgin. If you're looking to leave the kids at home, or you don't have kids, or you do not want to be on a vacation with kids, this cruise is 18 and over. So important to note about this one. They're brand new and modern ships. We were sailed on the Scarlet Lady, and there's also the Valiant Lady. And Liz, what other ships are coming?
So they have 2 more ships coming. There's the Resilient Lady and the Brilliant Lady, which will be coming in the near future.
Yes. And so right now they're doing, and we'll get a little more into this. Right now, Scarlet Lady is stateside, basically. She's out of Miami. And then Valiant Lady is over in Europe.
Yep, she's out of Barcelona right now.
Right. When she does, I think Valiant also does Greece, and we'll get into it. But there's a bunch of European itineraries, which is awesome. Then the dining, this is a huge, so our presentation tonight is, you're gonna see a lot of pictures of the dining because we love the dining.
Yeah, it stood out.
Yeah, so with that, all of the pictures you see specifically of the dining are pictures that we took on our sailing. There are some stock photography pictures in here, but the
majority of it is what we ate.
The food pieces, that's pictures that we took. Right. Let's see, then we have free and good Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, you can work off your laptop, I would say.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to work off your laptop with the free Wi-Fi, you can.
Yeah.
But then they also had other packages.
Yeah, you could do additional, like if you wanted to stream from your phone, you could upgrade to get that package, but the free was fine by itself.
TJ tried to stream some, like a game or two.
Yeah.
But it didn't work, right?
Yeah, you had to upgrade.
So in terms of posting to social media, that worked. Checking social media, that worked. Emails, of course, that worked. Some web browsing, that worked. It's just when you're getting to that streaming point. And we sailed on another cruise line earlier this year and tried their Wi-Fi. It did not work.
No.
Even the paid did not work.
It was on the struggle bus, yeah.
So Virgin has, I guess they took the initiative to be like, we are going to make this Wi-Fi work. And man, they made it work. It works.
Yeah, there was even one morning where kind of they had a like outage in their Wi-Fi, but it was up and running in a like matter of time.
Yeah, that morning, by the end of the morning, it was up and running. So, all right. So group workouts included. I know this is kind of funny, and Virgin really leads with the group workouts, but
they do.
They really lead with it. But it is funny because on the other cruise line that we traveled on earlier this year, they sold those group workouts. Like it was a charge for those group workouts.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
So in April, it's a $25 charge per session.
Yeah. So you can, I think on Virgin, you can do, private training if you want to do private, get a trainer and do some one-on-one training. You can pay extra for that. But in terms of the group, in fact, we took a class. What class did we take?
It was an early morning meditation that we did. It was
nice.
Very early. But
I think it was technically like called like a breathing exercise?
Yeah, it was more along the lines of that.
And that was included. All right, the other thing that's included is gratuities. So of course your gratuities are built into the costs, but you don't have to think about gratuities at all. There's gratuities are included. You don't have to worry about at the end of handing your steward or your dining staff or anything like that, any kind of gratuities. It's all included in the price.
Yeah.
And I like
then go ahead, Liz.
I was gonna say, I like that it's upfront. So some other, carriers, they will have that be as part of your like ending final folio. Or this, if you book today and you're cruising 6 months from now, you're literally prepaid.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about anything once you've paid, that's it. There's no additional things that you're going to have to worry about unless you're purchasing alcohol or special things like food ups. We'll talk about the food and what that's like in terms of which they don't upsell you, but there is special food that's available that you can purchase. And then the final thing on this list is, I believe, and Liz is going to speak a little bit more on this here now, is that this is a moderate pricing for a luxury cruise experience.
Yeah.
I've looked at the prices lately. We're going to show you some of the deals that they have running, but even outside of the deals, if you're just doing a rack rate, your standard price, I think that this is very moderate pricing for a luxury and adults only experience. So Liz, can you enlighten us about that?
Yeah. But one of the things I love about Virgin is that it gives you the feeling and the energy that you're on a super yacht. So you're not on a huge ship. You really feel like you are one of a limited number of guests on this vessel, almost like it's private. And that's where I think the luxury cruise piece comes in, where it's not a yacht, but it's also not a huge, city on the water.
Yes, that's very much how it is. When you come in, you don't have that grand lobby that you do on the ships that I've sailed on in the past, and that I know a lot of the other cruise lines have that huge atrium, that lobby that you walk into, which is really cool. I like to walk into that. I'm like, oh my gosh, but it's a different feeling, and it's a different vibe when you walk onto Virgin. And I also have to say, and I'm sure TJ agrees, that there's lots of like little nooks and crannies throughout this ship. And that's where they've used the space where they would have had a huge atrium. They've used that space to create these little nooks and crannies that you can kind of escape and get away, and that everyone's not together all at the same time. I don't know. It's just, it's very nice the way they designed the ship.
They use the space very well.
Yeah.
So if you did have to work while traveling, you could just pick a little corner. We already know they have great Wi-Fi, and you can actually get some work done, which is nice.
Yes.
Another thing too, I think, is about their commitment to the environment and to the countries that they visit. They really, like, their mission, their vision is an epic sea change for all, which, if we were to kind of break that down, they're focused on the excursions that they pick, which we're going to jump into, and even just how the ships operate. Like, I know you guys both experienced, there's no single-use plastics on board.
Right.
Crazy. Like the sailing that I was on in April with a different cruise line, we were given water bottles every 10 minutes if you wanted one. And that's a lot of plastic. So it's refreshing to have a company who's committed to making sure that the ocean is there for guests 50, 75, 100 years from now to be able to experience.
Exactly.
All right. So we're going to head on to talk about what room we had. So we had the Sea Terrace stateroom. We knew ahead of time that this is what we were going to have. This is basically a balcony. So a lot of people call it the veranda or the balcony. They call it the Sea Terrace. And the room is modern. There's a little touchscreen pad that you can change the lights into different moods and settings. So it feels very high tech. It can be a little slow and sluggish sometimes.
Yeah, there were a few times I noticed I had to restart the whole touchscreen iPad to get it going again. But for the most part, it controlled everything in the room. Yeah,
it controls the curtains. The curtains open and close.
It controls the lights, like you mentioned. It controls the TV, the room temperature.
So the room has enough storage. I think it had enough storage for us. I think if you're two people in a room, there's definitely enough storage. The one thing I do like, the sustainability part that I like about this is that, and this is different than I think that any other cruise line, is that they stock your watercraft. So you have watercrafts in the room, and your room steward stocks your water the whole time.
Yeah, ours were never empty.
We had like four, somehow we had like four. We started with two, and then
Somehow we got 2 more.
yeah, somehow we got 2 more, but they were always filled with water. And it was really nice, because even when you're in a hotel, like on land, for
That's a
us,
struggle to find.
for us, we always forget about the water. Like, oh crap, we forgot water. We forgot a water bottle, and then you have to go down to the sundry shop and then get the bottle, buy the $6 or $7 Palo water, and bring it back to the room. And you're like, well, dang. So the fact that the steward keeps water stocked, I don't know, that was a huge thing for me, because it's nice not to have to worry about, where you're going to get your water from in the morning or the evening. For us, it was kind of it was a big thing for us. So.
And they do still and sparkling.
Yes, they do still and sparkling. So you choose. I'm sure we just told him still. Our steward, we told him still, so he always had still. But I'm sure if you wanted one of each at all times, that they would oblige, of course. So, and it's complimentary. It's included in the price. They are not charging you for those refills at all. So we were on the 14th deck of the ship, which was a nice place. We were kind of mid-aft. My recommendation is, it's always nice to be kind of midship, because you're kind of in the middle of everything. And deck 14 was fine. We could walk upstairs to the galley, which is one of the food options, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. That was directly above us, so we didn't have to take an elevator or anything. It was just right upstairs. So 14th deck was nice to be on. So that is the vibe. And there's a hammock on your balcony. So if you have a terrace, you get a hammock. And I thought this is a genius idea. It doesn't take up much space. It can actually tuck away, but it was comfortable. The hammock was
very comfortable.
Super comfortable. It held me. It didn't fall.
No, and we're both pretty.
They're hand woven by women entrepreneurs.
That's right. Yeah.
And
we're both pretty tall, and we fit in there comfortably.
Yeah, it was not both of us, just one at a time. And then of course tables and chairs out. And similar to other cruise lines, if you had joining rooms or connecting rooms, I think you can open up the verandas if you want to share verandas. So, or have a larger veranda. All right, so we're going to talk about our itinerary a little bit real quick, and then Liz is going to get into some other itineraries that Virgin Voyages has to offer. They have fun names for all of their itineraries, and ours was called Dominican Days, and it was 5 nights. So we embarked, right?
Yes.
We embarked. I try to get the verbiage right. We embarked from Miami. Then we had a day at sea, and then we were in Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic, which is north on the island. And then we had another day at sea, and then we were at Bimini in the Bahamas, and then we disembarked in Miami. I got the terminology right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so that's our itinerary. So Liz is going to talk a little bit about the other itineraries that are available through Virgin Voyages.
I do love that they name each of their itineraries, because it makes it easier for me to remember, but I still have a cheat sheet over here. So they have a wide variety of 4 and 5 night sailings. And when you sail in the Caribbean, every Caribbean sailing will place you at Bimini in the Bahamas, which we're going to jump into. They have the Mayan Soul itinerary, which goes to Costa Maya and the Beach Club. Fire and Sunset Soiree goes to Key West and then the Beach Club. Great for folks who maybe want to stick a little bit closer to home for a sailing and then head out. Riviera Maya, which heads to Cozumel and the Beach Club. They also have transatlantic sailings when ships are, either moving to a new port or just you want to head across for a little bit. Absolutely. And In the Mediterranean right now, they have the French days and Ibiza night sailings. The Ibiza one is especially exciting. And a lot of their sailings have this where you'll stop in a port, maybe at like 5, 6, or 7 p.m. and then stay overnight.
I love this.
In that location. Where if I think about traveling to Ibiza, I would love to do it ever since Mike Posner had that song 10 years ago, whenever it came out. But what a great opportunity to be in port overnight in a location where you can go out, experience nightlife, have local restaurants, do whatever you'd like, be back on board by 2 or 3 in the morning, like you might do back home, and then set sail the next morning.
Right.
Which is just super fun. And super
that's definitely kind of like for your younger crowd who wants to do, the parties or whatever, because Ibiza is known for parties. But my thought process on this is like, sailing, and right now they don't have Hawaii, but I always think of like Hawaii, and mom and dad took us when we were kids, but I still remember the energy of that, and like the evening time is different than the daytime. And so when you're cruising, a lot of the time you have to be back on the ship by 5 or earlier, and then you don't get the opportunity to experience wherever you are at nighttime. So when I saw that the Ibiza itinerary does have you staying overnight in Ibiza, I was like, that's really cool. That's a great idea. And even Bimini, you can get back on the ship as late as I think 7. For us, it was still daylight, but like if the time had changed, we would have been on the island at night if we chose to stay, because we've seen some footage of guests at Bimini at nighttime because they do bonfires at Bimini, which we'll talk about later. But I just like that idea that Virgin is building in overnights, so it's literally like the hotel is at the port and you can come and go off the ship as you please. Yes. So I really like that. Anything else to add there on itineraries? I know that there's going to be more opening up in the future. They have Greece.
There are. We'll have some Greece sailings, and then South Pacific as well as another option.
That's cool.
Which is great. And those are based out of Australia.
Oh, that's cool. Mm-hmm. So in another few years, another year or two, Virgin will have a total of 4 ships. Yes. And they will all be like brand new. That is a huge order to order 4 ships basically all at once. And over the next couple of years, those other 2 ships will be sailing soon. So anyway, lots of ports of call. And if you have any questions, and want to know more about those ports of call, just reach out to Liz, and she's happy to help you figure out which itinerary is best for you. All right, so we're going to keep moving here. So this is talking a little bit about before sailing. So you can download the app, the Virgin Voyages app, and that will have your pre-arrival steps in there. I think for us, I took care of, since obviously TJ was attached, I was able to go into his account and take care of it. And then I think you took care of,
I think there was like a last step.
Yeah, like a health check.
Yeah.
So he was in the app, and then when it came time for the health check, which is pretty simple.
Yeah, it was like 4 questions that are yes or no.
So he took care of answering mine when it came time to do that. But those first steps, like taking a picture, and you take a picture of yourself so that you don't have to do that at the port. So that they know when you get on and off the ship, that's the picture that pops up on their screen. You take a picture of your passport. I don't remember if we took pictures of our COVID vaccination card. I think we might have. Yeah, I think we might have. So you upload all that into the app. It's very simple, very easy. The app still has a little glitches here and there, but for the most part, it does work well. And we did all of that pre-arrival steps in the app. And then that leads on to the next, because you want to make your dining reservations and other reservations such as spa treatments, excursions, all of that. And that can be done through the app as well. I don't know specifics on how far out your dining reservations are. But we'll talk about dining here in a moment, a little bit more in detail, but I'm not sure how far in advance you can make those dining reservations. But you do want to make your dining reservations as soon as you can, as soon as you're able to. And I'll talk about that a little bit here in a few moments. And then my recommendation is to familiarize yourself with the ship before you depart as much as you can. So watch a few videos, download the deck plan, so you just kind of have a general idea to get your bearings, because the sooner you can get your bearings, it'll just make it easier for you, and you'll be more at ease as you're going around the ship. So I recommend that. And we have a little shameless plug.
There it is.
We have a 360, we took 360-degree video on our sailing with a 360-degree camera. So if you have a virtual reality headset, you can use that, put that on and go to the YouTube app and watch in 360 deck tours.
Or you can do it with your phone.
Correct. Or you can do it with your phone. What I don't recommend is doing it on the TV. It doesn't show up properly on the TV. And then I would recommend, if you're going to not do the goggles, just watch it right on your phone, because when you move your phone around, you can see different parts of it. It's kind of cool how you can move the phone around. So, okay. Anything else you can think of, Liz, that you would add about before sailing?
My only sort of like asterisk or star is just related to the current world that we live in, which is COVID testing before you sail. And Virgin has a really great program where if you or someone you know has contracted COVID within 14 days of your sailing, they're going to take care of you. And whatever questions you have about it, of course, I would be here as your guide to make sure that everything gets sorted appropriately. But they do test at the port as of today, June 8th.
Yes. And the testing was easy. We'll kind of talk a little bit about that as we go over embarkation. So embarkation, of course, from Orlando, we just drove to Miami, and we got there a little early. So we did lunch in Miami, and then we headed over to the port where we dropped off bags, parked the car, and then once the car was parked, then we walked over into these little tent areas where they do testing. Do you want to explain the testing a little bit?
Yeah. So basically the testing, you go into a station and there's helpers there to kind of walk you through it. And you walk up to a table and they'll do the swab for you, put it in the solution, and then they'll send you into a waiting room to wait your results. And then I'm not sure if it's different based off of where, but I think for the most part, you'll just get an email.
Yeah.
Everyone will get an email.
So I think, yeah,
with your results.
You get an email. I tried to go into the website, to go directly into the website, but it didn't. It was a little funky. But yeah, you'll get an email letting you know which way. I wasn't expecting them to do it because the other cruise line we sailed on earlier this year, we did our own swabs, but they did your swabs for you on Virgin. Like, they administered the test, but they were very delicate, I would say. Yeah, they didn't shove it up your nose too far. But it was easy. Easy. Now, this is where I'm going to add in a little bit. So if you are a rock star, which a rock star means you're VIP and you have a suite, we had the status of rock star, but we had a regular standard sea terrace room. But because we were being hosted by Virgin, they gave us the rock star status so we could experience that and be able to talk about that. If you were a rock star, you're handled a little bit differently. You do not go into the same waiting area as everyone else. You go into a kind of a private lounge area, which is a nice place to kind of relax and get ready. You go through separate security than everyone else. I think if we would have announced when we went into testing, if we would have announced that we were rock stars, which we did not, no. I think you would have gotten special treatment in the testing as well, but we're just humble people and we just acted like everyone else. So, but you get a little bit of special treatment as you right away, you start your special treatment as a rock star.
You're a rock star.
Yeah, we were rock stars. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of explain that. That's kind of the first taste of rock star that we got when we got in to wait in a kind of a private lounge area.
Mm-hmm.
The port, the terminal that they created is beautiful.
It is very nice, yeah.
It is a brand new terminal in the port of Miami.
You can tell it's new.
It is brand spanking new, and it is nice.
Mm-hmm.
It is really nice. And there's a parking garage right there. So if you're driving in, it's literally across the street. There's like no question. So if you're going like us, we didn't know because we'd never been before. I had never sailed out of Miami, so I didn't know. But if you were like wondering, well, I wonder where the parking is, and you're sailing out of Virgin, the parking garage is literally across the street from the Virgin
right in front of the
terminal.
door.
Yeah, it's right in front of the door. There's no questions about where I should park. You just follow the signs to Terminal V for Virgin. Okay. Rachel has a question. Should I wear my Virgin Records shirt when I go? Absolutely. Rachel.
Because they have it's the last night.
So it's not the last night, the second to last night, at least it was on our sailing. They have Scarlet Night, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
And I actually bought a Virgin Voyages shirt specifically for that night on the ship. And we'll get into that here in a little bit. But let's keep going. So that's embarkation day. We boarded the ship. We started to explore the ship, which I recommend to you guys to take the opportunity to start exploring and get familiar. The room or the stateroom was ready for us.
Yeah, it was already ready.
Because on Virgin, you board a little bit later than other cruise lines. You board like around 1:30 or 2. That's kind of like the earliest boarding time they have. So, which was fine. I mean, the room was ready. Everything was ready. It was fine. Of course, anytime I could be on the ship earlier, the better. So 2 kind of felt a little bit late, but it worked out fine. And the stateroom was ready when we got on the ship. The other thing that I want to note here is this is kind of a lesson learned for us. Get familiar with that app. If you're hungry as you board the ship, just know that some things will start to close like around 4 or something. Certain food places will start to close. Not everything will be open as you board, but just if you're looking to get something to eat, have that app open and see what will be closing when. So that was something. We went up to the galley, which is on another ship that would be on another cruise line that would be their buffet, but the galley it's like a food hall. Mm-hmm. And you sit down and you have a waiter or a server come to you and take your order. Well, it was still open, but there was places that were starting to close. And so I think TJ asked for like 2 or 3 things before there was one that was still open. So just keep that in mind. The servers, I guess, didn't know. The service was fantastic, but the server, for whatever reason,
she didn't realize that they were closed, so she kept coming back saying, "I'm so sorry, but that's not open.
Right.
Do you want anything else? Can I suggest something else?"
Right. So just keep the app has all of the times in the app for the restaurants. Mm-hmm. So Rachel's asking if there's also room service available. Yes, there is room service available. The room service, go ahead, Liz.
I was gonna say, it knows where you are on the ship.
Yeah.
Really cool.
That's cool. Yeah. I know this.
It'll bring it to you wherever you are. So if you're in your room, great. If you're at the pool deck, great. Pretty much anywhere on the ship, it will know, based on the network where you are, and it'll bring it right to you.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. We saw a few people do that. For our room service, we always had it in the room. I will note that if you're ordering, there is a charge of $5 that goes to the room. Very minimal, and you can order as much as you want, but just know that it'll be a $5 like service fee, I would say. They also have grab and go. Several locations throughout the ship have grab and go where you can grab containers of food and take it, whether it be to your room or to the pool or wherever you're going. There is no buffet on this ship. I don't miss the buffet. I don't miss it. Yeah, especially in these times where we're much more aware of like the germs and the grossness. Like we will forever be aware of the germs and the gross. And it was fine with me. And Virgin never planned on having buffets. That was never part of their plan. And there is always food available. You just need to, like any ship, there's certain times when things are open and closed. So just be aware of that. All right. So we're going to kind of get into the food a little bit. So this food is a huge thing. I want to explain a little bit in the beginning here. There are no large dining halls or dining rooms on Virgin. They're all smaller, like restaurants. Like you're going to a nice restaurant every night.
Yeah. And no two rooms are the same.
Yeah, no two dining experiences are the same. They're all like perfectly designed, beautifully designed, and they all have a different vibe. Were you going to say something, Liz?
Yeah, it's a Michelin star collective. So a lot of the chefs or the inspirations, it comes from that level of service and integrity.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think they would ever mix a Michelin starred chef with a buffet just across the elevator lobby. It's not gonna.
So for these, you will have to make reservations. You are allowed to make one reservation for each of the restaurants per sailing. And then once you've made one reservation for each restaurant, then if you want to repeat a restaurant, then you'll need to just go and put your name on the waiting list. For our sailing, I don't think that there would have been a problem doubling up on a restaurant and going another night somewhere to the same place and just getting on the waiting list. I don't think there would have been an issue at all with that. In fact, if you really wanted to, you could have gone to your first reservation and then decided to have second dinner somewhere else. You probably could have done that if you really wanted to. Even though all these restaurants feel like you're ordering at a restaurant and it's just like a regular restaurant, you can still order as much as you want. So it's still that cruise vibe where, yes, I can order as many things as I want. So the first night we did the wake, and this is like the steakhouse. And a few of the items here, well, first of all, it's on the aft of the ship. So that first picture you see there, you get this beautiful panoramic view of the back of the ship. And for us, I
think we got the perfect seats.
Yes.
Because we were right by the windows.
Yes. And the sun was setting.
So it was a perfect view.
It was beautiful. And we were leaving Miami as we were sailing out. Mm-hmm. So we kind of were seeing Miami in the distance as we ate dinner. So beautiful restaurant. Then I had the filet mignon. We had the twice baked potatoes. And then the lemon is a lemon cheesecake that you had to crack open. And everything was delicious. It is steakhouse quality, restaurant quality food. And the menu here is huge. And all the restaurants, I would say, have a very substantially sized menu so that when we go again on a sailing, we will probably not order the exact same thing.
Yeah. My
experience on other ships is that the food is very repetitive and the menus aren't very big and they don't switch out. They don't switch out the menus. It's very easy for you, because I'm not going to say the other cruise line's name. It's very easy for you to know what that other cruise line is. And I'm telling you, Virgin's food is top notch.
Superior, yes.
Superior, for sure.
Be replaced for a few cruise lines, but there's no main dining room feel here, right? Like
it's very intimate, and the other thing about Virgin is you don't sit with anyone else except for one restaurant, which we'll get into, but you do not sit with anyone else. And I think that when I talk to people about that, people always are like, oh, I don't want to have to sit with someone.
Very skittish, yeah.
Like I don't want to. Who knows who I'm going to get, or like you don't want to have fake conversations with people. But Liz, I know, just had experience this year where she sat with people that were just no bueno.
Not someone who I wanted to spend time with, and that's okay. Not everybody has to get along, but it's great to have an environment where you're not forced into conversation. You can have organic conversations with people at different bars and spots on the ship or during your excursion.
Right. So the wake, fantastic. One of the things, like I mentioned again, I was really impressed with the amount of options on the menu. So I'll speak on this real quick. So every restaurant has items like that are like this restaurant, the Wake, had like a seafood platter that you could order, but they're going to charge you more for it. So while all the restaurants are included, there are things on the menu where it would be an upcharge to order. What I will say is that not one server ever said you want to order the upgrade. Not once ever was that ever anyone tried forced.
Yeah.
They didn't even mention it.
Yeah.
Ever, which I was super impressed with. They weren't upselling and being obnoxious about it. So, all right. So that was the first night. And then the next morning we had a day at sea. And this was the restaurant. There's 6 total restaurants that you're going to see images from that are sit down full service restaurants, 20 places where you can get food from altogether, but there's 6 that are full service restaurants. This one we decided to do for brunch. We did not make an advance reservation. I did make a reservation that morning because I was walking around and just decided, let me just grab a reservation for the restaurant. And then I went back to the cabin and got TJ, and then we headed here for brunch. This is the vegetarian forward restaurant, the veggie forward restaurant called Razzle Dazzle.
Yeah, I love the way she worded that. Our server, she was very adamant on saying it was veggie forward.
Right. They say veggie forward because there is meat options available. So you'll see a chicken sandwich there. I would say my favorite thing on this, what you're seeing here is the watermelon pizza. It is so simple, but it's basically watermelon, and then they have a layer of yogurt, granola, and then frozen berries, and it was delicious. A lot of fun. You could do this at home even.
I was gonna say I want to redo this.
Yeah, super easy to redo. And then that's what TJ got the bread. What is that?
I believe it was called the pixie toast.
Yeah, something like fairy toast or
fairy
something.
toast. Yeah,
yeah. It had sprinkles. It's just sugar.
It was.
It's just sugar. And then we ordered a lot, and she kind of knew, our server here knew our vibe. So she was basically bringing everything on the menu over to us. Yeah. We had way too much food here that we did not eat. And then that's the chicken sandwich, huge. Oh, that's another thing I'll say. The portion sizes are not like little puny cruise line, like dining room portion sizes. They are real like portions. Okay. And then the waffles,
the buckwheat waffles,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you remembered.
I do.
Oh wow. Okay. Buckwheat waffles there at the end. Liz, you want to go here?
Oh, for Razzle Dazzle? No, yeah. I'm good.
You don't want to go to Razzle Dazzle? I asked if you want to go to this restaurant.
Oh, would I go there? Yes, that's right. Grab any context to add. My notes were, yes, Razzle Dazzle is one of the 20 plus eateries on board Virgin Voyages. So you've already covered that.
All right. So later that day, our day at sea, we did head to the spa. And we had a 3-hour, you want to talk about that? The 3-hour?
Yeah, so the 3-hour one, I don't know when our reservation was for.
It's in the afternoon, like 2:30 or something.
Yeah, but as you can see, like it was very expansive. Like there was a lot to do. There was plenty of space to walk around. They had, I want to say 4 different spa type rooms, like a dry sauna, wet sauna. There was a salt room, hot tubs, laying chairs, heated the tables just to lay across.
Yeah, that woman laying across the marble there.
Like heated stone.
Yeah, that's heated stone that she's laying on.
It was very nice. We stayed there for an hour and a half. But a pro tip I will say is, as soon as you get on board, if you want to book this, just go ahead and do it then. Because when we got there, spots started to fill up fast.
Yes. Also, the price. What is the price?
It's $40.
Yeah, it's like $40 for 3 hours, which I think is reasonable
for all of this. Yeah, for 3 hours.
Yeah, so it's $40 per person. And then, of course, you have spa treatments like your massages, your body wraps, your salon services, facials, all that. Liz, did you have anything to add about the spa?
I did. So they have all those things, like you said, barbershop, mani-pedi options. And then as far as other recreation goes, since we don't really have a slide dedicated to that, they of course have their gym, the group workout sessions, the runway, which is the walking path, jogging path all the way at the top of the ship. And they have Squid Ink, which is the first tattoo parlor at sea. So if you're feeling bold and you want to have a tattoo to always remember you're sailing, you can absolutely get one while on board. And reservations for the spa are made on the app or in person once you are on board.
Right. I don't think we can make advanced here.
No. So for this, like other cruise lines, you have to do it at least on board or pretty much right before.
All right. So that evening on our day at sea, our first day at sea, we did the test kitchen. This restaurant here is really that restaurant where it would probably be an extra cost on any other cruise line. It's very elevated, experimental, and we enjoyed it. We did the wine pairing here, which of course is an additional cost.
That one was, yes.
But very good. The picture that you see there on the far left, that is venison, and I think that that's really interesting that they serve venison. No upcharges here, so everything is included, which except for the wine, which you don't really see, but everything in this picture is included. This is a set menu, so you don't choose from a menu. This is all set and brought out to you in courses, and I think in total there was
like 4 or 5,
6. There was a few more than this.
Yes.
I think there was like 6, and there might have been 2 more courses besides this. But
You're right. Yeah.
Right?
Say it again.
You can see the kitchen. It's like an open kitchen.
Yes. So the kitchen isn't like sit in the middle of the restaurant or anything, but it is open, so you can go. Before you get seated, they will take you on a little tour through, and so you'll get to see the open kitchen. They basically just have the doors open and you can peek in. And I haven't done the video on this yet, but for TikTok or Reels, but I think I got a shot of the kitchen, so you'll see that when I create that video. All right, so on our second full day on the sailing, we're at Puerto Plata, and we decided to do the jungle ATV ride, and I'll let TJ explain briefly that and how that went.
Yeah, so we took a bus ride to the ATV spot, which was maybe 15, 20 minutes to, and then we all lined up and got on our ATVs, and those things move. And it was really fun. I really enjoyed myself. And we watched videos prior. They do sell face masks, so you don't get any mud or dust all over your face. Because the videos we saw prior, there were people getting like super muddy. And so we packed like a pair of clothes that we knew we could just toss if we didn't want them or wash them or anything. But that whole ATV ride was about, how long would you say?
Like 45 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, it was one big loop, and it went, it wasn't through a town, but it was through. It went
through basically the jungle and along the pathway, this path that you were on. It wasn't, very few parts were paved, but it went through
a few neighborhoods,
like a few houses. Yeah. I wouldn't say it was a village. I guess a village is kind of a little bit. Yeah. So, but it was good. It was fun.
There was one point where we had stopped for a little bit, and then there was space. They make us all line up in a row to follow each other, and there was space in between us and the car in front of us. And so I just floored it, and it moved, and Brian got a little mad at me, but it's okay. But they're very fun. It's one I would do again for sure.
Yeah, it was fun to see a part of the island that you wouldn't see by just staying in the port. It's something different. It's, even though you're on a excursion that's made for tourists, it feels like you're getting to see parts of the island that, a regular person from the Dominican Republic, kind of life in the countryside type thing. So yeah, I would do it again. And then after you're done for this excursion, after you're done with the ATV ride, then they bus you over to a resort that they've partnered with, this tour company partnered with, so you can utilize the beach. And we stayed there for about 2 hours, and then we headed back to the ship. From there, they bussed us back to the ship. Right. So overall, it was great. And Liz, I think, has some other examples of excursions that you can do on other itineraries, not just the Dominican. Excuse me.
I'm so glad that you both felt like you were involved in the community there, and that you felt like you would do something that maybe someone would do on their day off from work, because again, much like their commitment to epic sea change, all of the excursions with Virgin Voyages are committed to the environment that you're physically in, and making sure that they work with operators and entrepreneurs from those communities to promote their economic growth at the same time. So there's no flags, follow me. There's no sort of like tacky or cheesy excursions. Everything is meant to immerse you in that community's environment and make you feel like you've been there your whole life. All bookable on the Sailor app, and they basically focus on 5 or 6 different main themes. So there's like culture, food, thrills, Richard's picks, which are of course Richard Branson's like favorite things, where you can like do meditation in a temple or something, you know, wild like that that you might not see on another major cruise line. And the prices are really quite reasonable. They go from $25 for snorkeling in the Caribbean to $170 for exploring the whole city and then taking a dip in a cenote, which like the transportation alone to a place like that could run you half that cost.
Yeah.
And
So I would say that this excursion was only $65 per person, which I thought was super reasonable.
yes.
For the bus ride, you know, not having to worry about anything and having the ATV and then having access to the beach. I thought everything was worth $65.
And y'all had like a cabana when you were at that beach.
Yeah,
too.
that was first come, first serve. So we kind of did a little hustle walk to make sure that we secured that. You know, we didn't push anyone over, but we hustled.
No. But it's not like they're not dropping you off on a beach with no tables and no chairs.
Right. No, yeah.
And they have some crazy excursions. Like one is driving sports cars in France. Like
that's cool.
James Bond. What, are you kidding me? Like that sounds amazing.
DJ wants that one.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm
intrigued. He's gonna go Google that right after this.
And then the nice thing too, they're fully refundable up until 24 hours from when
I did notice that.
Before, if you've had a change of heart, you're able to make those adjustments and be able to pick another excursion with no penalty.
Right. All right. So that evening we were back on the ship. This is our favorite restaurant. Extra Virgin. It's their Italian restaurant. This is really freaking good. This is all our photography. In fact, that one picture, some of these pictures, I'm like, is this our photography or is this stock photography? It's our photography, and it was very, very delicious. They make their pasta in-house, which is, I think, impressive. I'm sure there's other ships that do that, but I love that. I love they make the pasta in-house. We had a charcuterie board right there. And once again, that our server, you can see her, she was so fantastic. And she was like making sure that we had everything that we wanted. Like she was encouraging us to order more. Like it just wasn't like, it's not stingy. It is not stingy. And we were very full of this one. So the highlight of this one for me was the affogato cart. So if you don't know what affogato is, that's basically espresso poured over ice cream. And so she has a little cart and you choose your ice cream flavor and she pours over the espresso over the ice cream, and then you have toppings and she puts toppings and cream on it. And yeah. I don't know why we don't see more affogato carts in Italian restaurants, but Virgin really wins on this one. I mean, it's just fantastic. Yeah. We had talked about going there again just for the affogato cart, which you could do. We just didn't have the energy to do so. But I mean, yeah, Extra Virgin is, I think, number one. And once again, these menus, guys, are so freaking big. Like we will go back next time and we don't have to order the same things. Like there's plenty of options for the next 3 or 4 cruises where we don't have to necessarily repeat the same meal.
Yeah, we definitely won't get the same thing twice.
Like I'm like, how does Virgin even do the menu, the size of menus and the quality of food that they're doing? It's fantastic.
And this menu in particular was so expansive. She had to kind of explain it to us because there was so much on it.
Yeah. So my mother's here, and my mother asked about smoking on the ship. So there was a smoking room just off of the casino. You can't smoke in the casino, but there's a smoking room near the casino.
And there is a section outside.
There's a section outside too?
Yeah, so there's only 2 on the Scarlet Lady, there's only 2 sections to smoke. It's on deck 16 outside of Richard's rooftop, and then just outside the casino.
Yeah.
And I think in part of my response to Tammy as well is that on other cruise lines, like, I guess we shouldn't talk about who, but some of them take the whole like port side of the ship. And as long as you're outside on those decks, it's acceptable for smoking. Where if you are trying to walk around the perimeter, you would definitely interact with people outside smoking. So they've kept it to the little cubbies.
Yeah, we didn't notice anything like there. We didn't run into guests who were abusing the smoking or anything. Yeah. All right. Entertainment. So this is huge because we kind of saw some previews of the entertainment. I was afraid, and I think TJ had the same feeling. Some of the videos we saw, we felt like
It was a little cringeworthy.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, this entertainment just gonna pop up while we're walking through the ship, and it's gonna be like annoying and like
try to pull us into a show.
Yeah, like pull us into a show because
Phantom Folktales where they pop up randomly. They're not on a schedule. They just literally pop up and do mini plays.
Which we saw, but they just kind of like did it as they were walking.
If you didn't want to be part of it, you didn't have to, because we're kind of introverted. I would say we're relatively introverted. Like when it comes to that, like I don't want to be pulled into anything. I don't want to be pulled into, but it wasn't like that. So we saw a few of the entertainment pop-ups, and they were cool. And the big thing for us, I think, was the shows in the Red Room. And we didn't plan any of the entertainment. We just kind of, after dinner, we would walk over towards the Red Room and experience whatever entertainment was happening there that evening.
Which normally you would make a reservation for, because they kind of wanted to have a capacity limit for it, but we just walked in. Maybe it was because we were wearing Rockstar pants, I don't know, but we just kind of got away with walking in and not having to worry about that. There's drag shows aboard, so there was... I thought that was very unique,
Yeah, very unique, very well done. Like, not cringe, like not cringy. None of the shows were cringy. No tacky musical reviews. Like, all like really well, really highly produced entertainment.
Shows,
I
read some reviews.
So very good. We can't speak enough about the entertainment. Like, it is not cringy entertainment. So
they took up like traditional at sea Broadway productions and made it be super modern, immersive.
Yes.
I think I saw it was like their training or on the website, like they wanted to feel like a festival where you could pop from one thing to another. And on your app, you can see everything that's happening, and whatever you're pulled to, you can go and do it. It's not like I have to get in for the 7 o'clock.
Right. It was all very organic, and you felt like you were on vacation, and it was almost like it was like a nice surprise on vacation. Like, oh wow, that was refreshing and that was nice. And I think all the shows that we saw, I would see again, and I wouldn't be like, There's another cruise line, which I love the other cruise line, but the other cruise line we traveled on this year, once you see some of their shows, once you see it once, you're good. You don't have to see it again. And that's fine, and it's a good show, but you don't have to see it again, because then you have your night free. With Virgin, I just felt like it was kind of refreshing and surprising. I was not expecting the entertainment to be what it was. So,
but I'll add with the entertainment, I thought it was really cool how through the app you can make reservations, but you could also favorite some of the shows that were coming up, and it'll give you reminders saying, hey, the show's starting in 30 minutes if you want to head that way.
All right.
The groupie room though. I want to do some karaoke.
Yes, we didn't do that.
I mentioned it in passing. I was like, maybe we should do it, but
we totally forgot.
We're gonna when we go, we're gonna do it.
We totally forgot. They have a karaoke room. In case you missed that, there is a karaoke room, and you can book that. And I did get video of the inside on our 360 tour of the ship early in the morning, and there was, of course, no one in there, but I was able to get some shots of that. So you can see the room on our 360 tour. All right, so the second full day at sea, which is technically our third day In the afternoon, we booked the afternoon tea, which this is an extra cost. These are our pictures here. You'll see the champagne. That is actual real champagne. And it was a $35 upcharge for this. I think it's just $15 if you don't do the champagne, but we did the champagne, and you're in one of the lounges on the ship, and you get we of course we're just a party of two, so we had a nice little setup, and you get all of your afternoon tea accoutrements, and it's a nice experience.
Yeah.
You like my words?
Yeah.
You like my French?
Fancy.
Come on, it's like when you say porte-cochere.
Yeah. There's no porte-cochere on the ship though.
No.
I recommend the tea. I thought it was nice. I don't know if I recommend it. I don't know if I would do it again. I think maybe I'd do it again with a group of people. Maybe. Yeah. I don't like it was worth it.
It's worth it, yes.
But I don't know if I would do it again like every single time I cruise.
Right.
But it's totally worth it. It was a very nice experience. And then that evening we had dinner at Pink Agave.
That's good.
Which was good. The Mexican restaurant on board. They have a huge mezcal menu as well. I think it's like the largest at sea or something. Love the interior design on this one, and great experience here as well as with all their dining. The other thing I'll note on this, all of the dining rooms for the most part, I think they all have bars. So
that's right,
like a real restaurant, they have a bar. So if you just want to go into the bar and have a drink, you can go in and have a drink at the restaurant's bar, which I thought was kind of cool. All right, so then our final full day on the sailing was the beach club at Bimini, which is in the Bahamas. It is not a private island. They dock at Bimini, and there is a tram that takes you directly to the beach club at Bimini. Beautiful. I did not miss, and I'm sorry we don't have a picture here. I did not miss like private island feel. Like I felt it was very quick to get to the beach club, which is private to Virgin Voyages. It's branded Virgin Voyages. It's exclusive to the cruise line. I did not miss the private island. I felt like the beach club was very private in itself. The waters were beautiful, and we spent time at Richard's Retreat, which is available to Rockstar guests. So you have a covered seating area where a server will come and take your order. Whereas if you were just a standard guest on the island, the food is included, but you have to go like a little bit more quick service style, where you go up to the counter, you tell them what you want, and you take it back and sit down. With Richard's Retreat, they come and take your order for you. So very nice. But if you're not Rockstar level, do not worry. There is plenty of seating available, premium seating available to you. You can grab that premium seating, first come, first serve. So I recommend getting a little off the ship a little earlier than maybe the rest of your party. Reserve some seats. You can go back and forth to the ship as much as you want with the tram, and it's like a 5-minute drive on the tram. It's not far at all.
Did they have towels there, or did you have to bring towels from the ship?
Well, they told us in the app to bring towels, but
they had towels.
They had towels there, so I'm not really sure why they said bring a towel. They also said bring a towel to the Dominican Republic, which I kind of understand a little bit more because we're going to that beach, and we did use the towels there. But for the beach club at Bimini, I don't know why they told us to bring towels off the ship when they had plenty of towels on the island. And I think even outside of Rockstar, they had towels for people to use. So I'm not really sure why they said that. But there's full bars. There's a DJ playing music. It's a beach club vibe.
Yeah, the music that the DJ was playing was very good. And I'll say that the seating, if you wanted to get that vibe from the DJ, you could sit close to it. But if you wanted to go by the beach and not be close to the loud music, you can't hear it. And
then the evening, they do big bonfires. They have these huge metal spheres that they do bonfires in. It's very relaxing, very nice. Yeah, it would be nice to see that, but next time. There will definitely be a next time. All right, so that evening for our final full day and for our final dinner on the ship, We went to Gumbae, which is the first Korean barbecue at sea. Holy cow, to have a Korean barbecue right there, super unique. We had beautiful cocktails. Don't ask me what the names of them are because I've already forgotten what the names are, but they're very beautiful.
Soju in them. Love soju.
Yeah, beautiful. And then you have all your accoutrements. I use that word again, accoutrements, that you would have in like a traditional Korean barbecue restaurant or a Korean restaurant, like kimchi, all that. And then the server cooked right in front of you. So sometimes when you're at Korean barbecue, you cook yourself, right? But in this, the server cooks for you. This is where you sit with other people. So if you book a party of 2, you're going to be sat with 2 other couples. So for a total of 6 at the table. If you're going with a group of 6, then you get your own table with your party. But if you are just 2 people or 4 people, you'll be put with somebody else. And it was fun.
Yeah.
We had a great group of people with us, 2 other couples. Our server was good. It makes it less awkward when the server is engaging the entire time, which he was. So because he was cooking the food and guiding the experience.
Yeah, and it was a nice icebreaker. We started off with a drinking game.
Right. They play drinking games here.
Yeah.
Yes. And I won.
Yeah, he did.
I won the drinking game. And it was a numbers game. And I was like, oh, well, we're going to be out of this the first ones. But we weren't. No. Not even TJ.
No, we were the last 2. We were going against each other, and he ended up beating me. It was fine.
Aw, that's fun.
So you get a complimentary shot of like a kind of like a rice wine sake drink, but it's Korean, so it's not sake, but it was fun.
Yeah.
So what I recommend for this is do it your first night, because when you do Gumbae your first night, you're going to meet some other people possibly. Then you might see them later on in your cruise, and maybe strike up a conversation or maybe make new friends. So do Gumbae your first night to set you up for that, just in case you get good people at your table. If you don't get good people at your table, fine, but
you won't have to sit with them again.
Right. With the icebreaker, I think having the server so involved in the drinking game and the icebreaker, I think that makes a huge difference in this experience. So I didn't have too much anxiety having to go into Gumbae. But I will have even less anxiety next time because I know that how the experience will go. So anyway, I loved Gumbae. And like I said, do it your first night. So Liz, that's kind of covers like the food, a lot of the highlights of what we did. And Liz is going to talk about what the current offers. So this is being recorded on June 8th. And so these are currently active June 8th. 2022. And so Liz is going to talk about some of the offers that are happening now. If you're watching after the dates that you see on these screens, the book by dates, just reach out to Liz. Her contact information is going to be in the description of this video here on YouTube, as well as at the end of this presentation, it'll be on the screen. So Liz, go ahead and take it over and talk about the current offers from Virgin Voyages.
And there are some offers that they have all year round. So need not fear if you're watching past June 14th, but there's a couple of offers that have some time sensitivity to it. Basically a couple of days left, which is the $572 per person to sail in the Caribbean. So the sailings that Brian and TJ did, Riviera Maya, Fire and Sunset Soiree, all of those are included in that pricing, which is pretty amazing. And the Mediterranean, if we're feeling like we want to head overseas, that sailing is priced at $1,274, and that's a longer sailing. These are like 7-8 nights. So that's where you're going to see a difference in cost there. The other and sort of like fun, exciting one that they have right now is the Sail with Friends promo, which I know I can think of a few friends that would want to come with me on a sailing. Right now, for every sailing that books with you as a friend, they get an extra $200 in sailor loot, which sailor loot is basically onboard credit, free money. There's a lot of different ways that we could call it like that, but it's basically a way for you to use that money towards excursions, shopping in the market on board, buying beverages, whatever you'd like. Room service, Brian and TJ talked about that. Service fee is free money for you to spend. So that goes through June 30th. The normal pricing for the Sail with Friends is $50 per additional cabin. So some extra money in your pocket on board, which is awesome. And an all year sort of normal standard pricing rule for Virgin, which I think is great. If you're doing future planning and you know, like maybe for spring break or maybe next holiday season, as long as you book 180 days out, you'll save 10% off of the sailing cost. So when I send a quote to you, I'm going to pull the best pricing for whichever itinerary or whichever month you're looking at. So all these special pricing that we're going to see will be built in, so long as it's available. And the last thing that I'll probably mention as far as like how booking goes is that you'll have to be paid in full at the 120-day mark. So if we're looking at this summer, which I saw a question come in from Rachel. So what are the sail by dates? Great question. For the two promos up top, the June 14th end by dates, you have to sail within the next 120 days. So basically any part of summer to be able to take advantage of that special pricing. That's all. And they do have, they have some group perks as well. So they call it circles, where if you have 10 or more cabins all together, think friend reunions, bachelorette, bachelor party, birthday party, great for corporate meetings. You can have a space to all be together at sea. That's all included too.
So Rachel has another question. She says, are there suites available or typically 2 per cabin? So there are suites available, and I'm not sure about the categories of the different suites and how many per suite.
There's a few different types of suites. All in that rockstar category that Brian and TJ already mentioned. The max capacity in any Virgin stateroom is 4. So they have some rooms like the insider, solo insider rooms are of course for one individual traveling alone, which you could take advantage of an individual.
Oh, I didn't know that. They have rooms for one?
Yes, they have individual rooms.
That's cool.
And then pretty much sea terrace is 1 through 4. They have the, what is it? Social insider, which is an inside cabin for 4 people. But the max is 4. Even in their like mega rockstar suites, which are stunning and come with guitars and things to play music on. And you're actually encouraged to bring instruments on board, which I think is pretty cool. So long as you're not, obtrusive to.
And the rockstar suites have record players, I believe, in them too.
Yes,
right?
They all have record players, and some of those higher categories have alcohol included.
Cool.
If that's something that you're.
So the other thing that we're offering now up until June 14th is we're offering, Liz and I are personally offering $100 in sailor loot on your cruise.
Yes.
We are encouraging you to book by June 14th. So that can be for any sailing all the way through whatever sailings are happening in 2023 that are announced right now. It can be any sailing that you book for the future. We are going to give you $100 of sailor loot to use, which is basically room credit to your room. So we are offering that right now up until June 14th. So you got to be booked by June 14th.
So if you have another couple or 2 other friends that you want to go with, combine the 200 sailor loot from Virgin plus our gifts. It's wild, but you have to book in the next couple of days.
Right. But if you're outside of that and you're watching, just contact Liz and she'll tell you what the current offers are.
Yes.
All right. All right, so we're gonna open it up to questions. Feel free, if you wanna unmute yourself. I think we're gonna have to do some administrative stuff here to allow that to happen.
Let's see. Yeah. Oh, we're allow participants to unmute themselves. Okay, cool.
All right, so feel free, if you want to unmute and ask a question, feel free, be our guest. And
or you can type it as well.
Or you can type it. So Rachel's asking, what are the pricing on alcohol packages? There are no alcohol packages on Virgin. So one thing that we didn't get into is that you are allowed 2 bottles of wine per cabin.
Mhm.
So you can bring 2 bottles of wine on, like we said, per cabin. And obviously great benefit to have. And then I would say that the prices on alcohol aren't outrageous.
No, they're really quite great. And unlike traditional cruise lines, you can sign up for a bar tab where you prepay like what you would with a regular drink package, and then you just deduct from that. Which I love because 1, you're prepaying like you would with a normal cruise line, but 2, you're not locked within, a certain guideline for like number of drinks per day or anything like that. Like everything would be chargeable at that point. It's not like this is excluded, this type of drink is excluded, this drink's $1 more. Everything's locked in. And much like the promotion that they have for the onboard credit with Sailor Loot, whenever you prepay a bar tab, there's a few things that happen. 1, it's accessible to you and all of your friends. So if you did have 2 staterooms, you can share a bar tab, which is great. And if you were to prepay in increments of $300, Virgin will give you an extra $50. So there's a little bit of extra cash there too. And to Brian's point, sorry, I know I kind of like interrupted you. I'm very passionate about this because I think it's amazing. There's most of their beers are under $6, most of their wines are under $9, and most of their cocktails are under $13, which I can't think of any destination, including here in Philadelphia, except if I go to like my local dive bar where you're going to have a beer that's $6 that isn't Miller Lite and wine and cocktails for such a great price. So I'm so glad you asked that, Rachel, because I think it's important to dive in.
Also, if you are a rock star, every day on Richard's deck, which is the private VIP rock star only area on one of the upper decks, I think it's deck 16, they have a happy hour where there's complimentary. So we only took advantage of it once.
I think it was the first day.
We failed at that. But the first day was like a champagne toast.
Oh, fun.
And they did do a complimentary champagne toast for everyone on Sail Away. So I don't know if they do that every single time or if they will continue to do that every single time, but everyone on the ship was invited to the champagne toast as we sailed away. Excuse me. And then we had access to complimentary champagne starting at 5. I think it's like 5 to 7 is the happy hour on Richard's deck. So that's something to keep in mind too. We do not know what the other offerings were on the different days because we never made it. Unfortunately, we were just busy. So.
And some of the suites, like I said, have it included, and even they'll have mini bars in your room that's included. So you can mix with cocktail shakers, a full bar setup, whatever you would need.
All right. Any other questions?
Yeah. Hi. It's awkward. I'm calling you guys from my phone. So I had a couple questions. My name is Oda. I talked to Liz and Brian.
Hey, Oda,
I follow you on Instagram.
We know who you are. How's it going, Oda?
Good. Mom life. So I had to do this on the phone instead of being like on the computer.
No worries.
I do have a couple questions. So one, when you guys landed in Puerto Plata and you needed to obviously leave the ship, do you have to carry your passports with you? Is there a system that you can do? How did that work out?
Great question, because we were kind of unsure about that ourselves. So we took our passport, but there was no need for the passport. At no point in the DR were we asked for a passport. For us, because of our excursion, we just took our ID, and we were never asked for ID. So we did have our ID and passport, but we wouldn't have needed those. We really would have just needed our our identification. So I would say leave your passport at on the ship, and keep it in the safe and locked away. For international travel, generally what I do is I carry around a copy with me, just like in dire emergency, like I need a copy. Probably I would, if I thought enough in advance about that, I would have done that. But there was no need for a passport in Puerto Plata and nor Bimini. Yeah.
Cool, awesome. And then my other question was, well, I just have two more questions.
No worries.
Can you upgrade to the Rockstar status without having a Rockstar cabin? Does that make sense, what I'm asking?
Right. So unfortunately, you can't do that from what we've learned, because in the last few days we've been trying to research that, and Liz has confirmed that you cannot do the upgrade. To be honest with you, Oda, like the Rockstar was nice, but it wouldn't have made or break in anything with our sailing. It really
got it.
I mean, it was nice to have, but like we told you, like we only utilized the Richard's deck for the happy hour once. And so and it was nice on Bimini to have that Richard's retreat, but did we absolutely need that? No, we didn't. I mean, especially if you got off the ship, when you're at Bimini and you're going to the beach club, get off the ship in the morning, go grab a spot. You're going to find whatever spot you want, whether it's by the pool or on the beach, because there is a pool. I don't know if we clarified that, but there's a pool at the beach club. So you have pool or you have beach, and the pool, you can see the beach from the pool. Mm-hmm. Like, it's very nice. So, I would just kind of, if you don't have Rockstar, then I would just, take advantage of getting off the ship a little bit before you think everyone else will, maybe by 10 o'clock, 10:30, and grabbing a spot. And even if you have to go back to the ship, that's fine. If you, want to, do something else or whatever. It's super easy to go back and forth from the ship, from the beach club.
Got it. Cool. That's cool. That sounds really cool, the pool part. Maybe you said it, but I don't remember hearing it.
Oh, yeah, I didn't say it. Go ahead, Oda.
So my last question is, did you feel, I get motion sickness, and I've been on other cruise lines, which we won't mention, and I usually do the patches, and I have felt like at the 72-hour mark, I was like, okay, I need another patch kind of thing. So I was wondering, because this trip is like huge.
Yeah.
If that's still the case, like, did you feel anything?
I didn't.
I never felt anything personally. But I've been on 4 other cruises, and I've never really felt that. So I've never felt seasick or motion sickness at all from being on the ship. So maybe I'm not the right one. I did notice that I didn't have sea legs getting off of Virgin. I earlier this year I did have slight. I could kind of notice getting off the ship on the other cruise line in February. I noticed, like, how you kind of feel when you get off the ship. Like, I didn't get that. I didn't feel that at all getting off of Virgin Voyages. So I don't know if that's a good thing, but I mean, if you have the seasickness, I think that's just, you have to come, even if you don't. Even if you normally experience and you don't experience, that's good, but just come prepared with whatever you need to handle it. I know one of my friends who used to sail on a sailboat, she had one of the bracelets to help her, that kind of, you don't really notice it there, but it sends kind of some kind of frequency to help you with your.
There's like I was just looking at my box of things from my cruise before that I have here, but it says like a pressure point right here on your wrist. And I've experienced motion sickness before. I don't know if it's like a placebo type thing, or because I know that it's on, I'm like focused that I'm going to be okay. But it worked really well for me back in April. And Rachel says ginger drops. They use it on Orlando attractions, and that they use like medicine halfway through. They didn't have a good experience with the patch.
And then Rachel, I did see another question that you had. I would reach out to Liz directly on any kind of things with that, getting specific like that. Oda, did that answer your question?
Yes, those were all my questions. Thank you so much.
Cool, awesome. Well, any other questions from anyone who's here tonight? We appreciate you all being here. I know it's run, what are we at night? We're almost at 90 minutes.
We're a little over. Sorry, y'all. We just love to talk about Virgin.
No, yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. So I want to just say once again, like I really love this product, and I've been following this product ever since really it was announced and there was concept art that came out. I thought that the concept art for these ships were just like beautiful, like a yacht, you know, like having that that experience, excuse me, that experience of a yacht. And then having experienced it, we are so thankful to Virgin for hosting us, and we're so happy to be able to have these experiences. And so even outside of us being hosted, would we pay for this? Absolutely, we would pay for this. And I think the price point is right. I mean, for sure, I think it's a fantastic. And the food, I can't even tell you, like the food, like it is fantastic. So I think that it's the right choice. I mean, if you're looking for a time to get away and to relax, and then if you're looking for like something like the Med and exploring different parts of the world from a cruise ship, I think this is a fantastic way to do that. So I can't speak highly enough about Virgin, and the crew members were all so kind, so fantastic. They wanted to be there. You could tell that they were happy to be there. One of the things about Virgin is that they get a choice if they have their own cabin or not, like below deck, if they get their own cabin or if they share with somebody. And that's huge, because that can take a toll. So if you are someone who wants their own cabin, you can choose that. If somebody, if a crew member wants to share, they can share. And I think that probably helps with morale overall on the ship. And fantastic service, and can't say enough good things. We are here to help you. So Liz's information is here on the screen. You have her email address eyoung@starstufftravel.com, and her direct number. You can text her or call her. You can reach out to me on Instagram, TJ as well, at Brian Trex, whether it's Instagram. That's probably the best place to reach out to me and send me a direct message. If you have another question that you want to ask us directly, just reach out to us there. We're on YouTube as well. Check out our YouTube videos. I'm going to go ahead and just, as we finish up here tonight, I'm going to go ahead and grab our YouTube link. Let me just go ahead and stop sharing the screen real quick, and we're going to go ahead and grab the link for you. Hold on, I was not ready for this. I should have been more prepared.
I'm sorry.
No worries. I just want you guys to be able to connect directly to our page, our YouTube channel, so that you can watch our videos on this. We do have 2 vlog style videos up right now from our day 1 and day 2 of the cruise, as well as those 360 tours. So those are up for you so that you can take a look at them. And that's it. If you want to leave, if you need to leave contact information for Liz, you can leave it in the chat. And then we will be posting this on YouTube as well, so you'll be able to do a replay of it. And thank you guys so much for joining us tonight, and happy traveling. I hope you guys book Virgin. It's well worth it, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you so much, Liz. Do you have anything else you want to add, Liz?
No, I'm just so excited to help people, get on board with Virgin Voyages. I think it's a remarkable product, and as long as you're 18 and over, there's something to do for everyone, which I think is really, really amazing.
All right, guys, thank you so much, and we will see you later. Have a great night.
Bye.